Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Abhijit. Today we're discussing about the fiscal policy. So, fiscal policy is the Rajashwa Niti. So, we can divide fiscal policy in two parts, that is the income and expenditure. Income and expense. So, what is the income for any country or state? So, income is tax, fees, fines, for a disinvestments, dividends, interest, service or rents. Those are the uh, income for any state. And what is the expense of any country or state for a uh, for economy so expenditure is the why we expense the money. That is, we can expend in spend in defense, expend in salaries, pensions, schemes, subsidies, repayment of loan, development, infrastructure development, technologies, and scientific research. All of those where we use the money. Income is where we get the money. That is the income. We can understand the income and expenditure by income also has two kinds. That is revenue income, revenue income, and capital income. Okay. So revenue, income, and capital, and also expenditure can be divided into two parts. That is revenue expenditure and capital expenditure. So first, we're talking about the revenue income. So what is the revenue income? We can understand revenue income by two tools. That is liabilities, liabilities, and asset. We can understand if these four kind by the understanding of liabilities and asset. Liabilities and asset. Okay. Revenue income, when we say that this is revenue income, when lively asset can be grow and grow or increase or decrease, and asset also not increase or decrease, then it will be, we say that it is the revenue income. And if liability increase and asset decrease, then we say that it is the capital income. And same here, if the liability or asset does not increase or decrease, then we say that that is the revenue expenditure. And if liabilities decrease but asset increase, okay, then we say that it is the capital expenditure. You must remember this. So first of all, the what is the revenue income? How we understand this? Revenue income is the, suppose, tax and non-tax, tax and non-taxable. Those are tax and non-taxable. Yes. Revenue income we can divide by two, tax and non-tax. So tax, we understand the tax. We just give taxes for the government. We can understand this. But what is non-tax? How we understand? It is a common question. Is asked in many times in WBC's interview, that give five example of non-taxable things. That is so non-taxable. That is a fine. When you go at road without helmet, then you will give fine to the government. That is the non-tax. And any kind of fees you give to government, direct fees, and the profit from PSU, railways, and air. That will the also be the non-tax. And interest gain, if the country gives some loan from any country, that is interest gain. Dividends, okay, dividends, and or anything. Those are the five non-tax and tax. So that's the non-tax and tax. You know that we just give tax and direct tax also in two kind of direct tax and direct tax and indirect tax. So if you try to understand, if you to understand that sure, what is direct tax and indirect tax, you must understand it can be understood by one word, that is transfer. Understand by this word. If you transfer your tax to others, then it will be indirect tax. But if you can't transfer the tax from um, that you but you can't transfer this, then it will be the direct tax. So direct tax example of direct tax: income tax, capital gain tax, okay, and anyway, so many kind of wealth or income tax, property tax, or corporate tax, industries tax. Those are the and security transaction tax. Those are the direct tax. I also tell you the non-tax. So when we talking about the capital income is kind of loan. If we take loan, then our capital liabilities will grow. There are financial liabilities. Okay, liabilities, financial liabilities, financial liabilities. I just missed that. Financial liabilities, not B here. Why I just B? Financial liabilities. So loan, we take loan from anywhere, then our financial liability grow, and this investment, if we for sure money we sell something, you just listen somewhere that the government sell privatization some companies, that is the disinvestment. They can sell it for the financial liabilities to expend from here to spend in here. And now we're talking about the expenditure. The expenditure is defense. We're talking about the defense and the salaries, pension, pension and subsidies, schemes, and repayment of loan, development, and sorry, the salary, pension, and subsidy scheme. Those are all in here in the revenue expenditure, where the liability, financial liability does not decrease or asset does not decrease, but where the financial liability decrease. That's why we take the loan to develop infrastructure or making a road or scientific research, okay, and technology, and those are the capital expenditure, okay. So that's all about the fiscal policy, how it can be. You try to understand this. And one more thing, that is the I don't take the indirect tax. What is the indirect tax? I told about the if you transfer your tax, then it is indirect tax. So the example of indirect tax is like GST, GST, capital gain tax, GST, capital gain tax, sorry, custom and excise. Those are the indirect tax. Custom, when you buy something from the abroad and you should give some tax to the government, that is the custom tax. And excise, if you should produce something in the country, then you give some tax, that is the excise duty, okay. And GST, we talk about some little about the GST. So GST is 2017 1st July 2017 it applied with the constitutional amendment article 279A. This article also called the GST Council. So I give you example. I mean, GST is two types: the intra, and inter. I give example. Suppose in West Bengal, you made a card and buy to me. Then I give a tax both state and the central government. So here CGST, I give CGST and as well as SGST. And if this car you made in Bihar and I purchase in West Bengal, then only one tax I tax provide, that is IGST. Like you should 12% here total to the central government, but here 6%, 6% is state government and central government divided into this. Okay, that is about the GST. And also taking to share and the one of the most important topic, it is the budget. So budget is three types. There is a surplus budget and balanced budget, and one of is deficient budget. Three kind of budget. Mm, So surplus budget when the income is more than the expenditure. Balanced budget when income and expenditure are the same. A deficient budget when income is less but expenditure is more. You just understand by this. Suppose here 100 crore income generated in the country, but they only expended in 80 crore. That is the surplus country. This country is called underdevelopment. 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 Okay. And where the 100 crore income and expense also 100 crore. This type of country is called the developed country. Okay. And when the income is 100 crore but expense is 120 crore. Okay. This type of country is called the developing country. India is a developing country because the expenditure is greater than the income. So that's how I try to explain the little about the fiscal policy. I make more video on this topic to clear this topic. I will try to clear this topic in more briefly in the next video. So touch with me and subscribe for next video. I will make more elaborate this topic of the fiscal policy of. Okay, so thank you for watching, and if you think this is helpful for you, so give a comment and share with your friend, and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.